The world Jake Sully left behind was a dying one. Earth, in the year 2154, was a gray, suffocating marble. Population density had choked the forests out of existence, and the air was a toxic soup of industrial waste. Jake, a former Marine paralyzed from the waist down, lived in a world of cramped apartments and neon-lit rain. When his twin brother, Tommy, a scientist, was killed in a random mugging, Jake was offered a choice: take his brother's place in the Avatar program on the moon of Pandora. Because Jake shared his brother's genome, he was the only one who could link with the expensive bioengineered body known as an Avatar, a hybrid of human DNA and the genetics material of the indigenous Na'vi. Pandora was not a planet, but a moon orbiting the gas giant Polyphemus. It was a world of lethal beauty. The atmosphere was deadly to humans, requiring exapex at all times. The flora was bioluminescent, and the fauna was nightmarish. At the military base, Hell's Gate, Jake met Colonel Miles Quaritch, a man who viewed Pandora as a personal enemy to be conquered. He also met Dr. Grace Augustin, a botanist who had spent decades trying to understand the Na'vi. While Quaritch wanted Jake to be a spy, Grace wanted him to be a bridge. The first time Jake entered his avatar body, he didn't walk. He ran. For a man who had been trapped in a wheelchair for years, the sensation of soil between 10-foot-tall toes was intoxicating. During an initial expedition, Jake was separated from the group after an attack by a Thanatos. Alone in the jungle at night, he was nearly killed by viper wolves. Before being rescued by Nateri, the daughter of the Omaticaya clan's leader, Netori saw a sign from Awatha, Great Mother, and the biological network of the Munan. Chig Eskin. Instead of killing him, she took him to Home Tree. For months, Jake lived a double life. By day, his mind inhabited his avatar, learning the ways of the Na'vi, how to hunt, how to ride a dire horse, and how to make the bonsai. By night, he reported to Quaritch about the internal structure of Home Tree, which sat atop of the largest deposit of unobtainium the mineral Earth desperately needed. However, Jake was falling in love not just with Netori, but with the world itself. He began to see that Pandora wasn't just a collection of resources. It was a living, breathing entity where every organism was connected. The conflict reached a breaking point. The RDA Resources Development Administration demanded the Na'vi move. Jake tried to warn the clan, but he was seen as a traitor when they discovered his original mission. Quaritch launched a brutal assault. Gas and missiles brought down the massive Home Tree, killing the clan leader, Etukan, and thousands of others. The Na'vi were broken, and Jake was disconnected from his avatar and imprisoned. To regain the Navi's trust, Jake did the impossible. He tracked and tamed the Leonopteryx Toruk, the most feared predator in the sky. Only 5 Na'vi in history had ever done this. Riding the last shadow, Jake returned to the Omaticaya. He was no longer a dream. He was Toruk Makto, a leader capable of uniting all the clans. Jake rallied the plains, people, the sea, people, and the Ikron riders. A massive war erupted in the Hallelujah Mountains. Humans used gunships and bombs. The Na'vi used bows, arrows, and the power of the forest. When the Na'vi were on the verge of defeat, the moon itself responded. Eywa heard Jake's prayer. Thousands of forest creatures joined the fight, overwhelming the RDA's mechanical suits. In a final showdown, Natri killed Quaritch, saving Jake's human body just as his oxygen ran out. The humans were sent back to their dying Earth, except for a few friends of the Na'vi. Through a sacred ritual at the Tree of Souls, Jake's consciousness was permanently transferred into his avatar body. He opened his eyes, no longer a human, but a true son of Pandora. Years pass. Jake and Natari raised a family, Natiam Lok, Tuk, and their adopted daughter Kiri. But the Sky People returned with even greater force. To protect their forest clan, Jake took his family to the reefs of the Metkaina clan. There, they learned the way of water. They adapted to life on the sea, bonding with the Tulkan massive, sentient, whale-like creatures. However, Quaritch had been resurrected as a recombinante Na'vi soldier with his human memories. He hunted Jake across the archipelago. The final battle took place on a sinking CV. Though Jake and Natri lost their eldest son, Netium, they managed to defeat Quaritch's forces once more. Jake realized they could no longer run, whether in the forest or the ocean. Pandora was their home, and they would fight for it until their last breath. The story ends with the Sully family standing by the sea, mourning their loss but resolute in their connection to the world.